phone's being weird today. All right, so Mailerlite automations are really easy. That's one of the reasons why I kind of was like, I think I'm gonna stay with it. And it does integrate with a lot of things. So if you have a Shopify or any type of website like that, it will integrate. I'll show the automation that I had set up for my Canva and cocktails. And let me show the lead magnet one. I'll show the lead magnet because that's something that I think a lot of people have or want to have, and so you may trying to figure it out. And it doesn't have to be super complicated. There's only like 2 emails in this particular one, but that just depends on. But this actually, I have another email that triggers this. So let me go into here. So when you're creating they call it a workflow in Mailerlite. So when you're creating it, it's super simple. You start basically with this little, which looks like a flow chart. That's the best way to explain it. A flow chart or like a hierarchy kind of thing. So as you're going through, you get to add in you create your emails, you add in your little how often you want them to send or what have you. So you can do a really long extensive one, especially if you are sending out like a newsletter. You will want to make sure you have it set up on a time frame where it goes out. So this one is triggered when subscribers complete a form that says the lead magnet form. So I already have a separate form that's for the lead magnet. So when anybody fills that out, they automatically fall into this funnel. That's another name too, funnel automation. I will consider them the same thing in the email marketing world. I'm trying to know all the lingo is a lot too. But they fall in here. And then the little pluses is where you add either an email or a delay. So if you wanted to send out something once a week, you could have it set up to do that. If you wanted to send something out every other day, some people send stuff daily, some people send stuff multiple times a day. I don't know how I feel about that, but to each his own. Condition is obviously depending on what the person does with the email will determine what comes next. So if they click a certain thing in the email, what comes next after that? Or if they don't click anything, what do you want to happen? And then action, I don't use action that much, but I'll show you what it has up in here. So it can move them to a certain group, remove them from a group, unsubscribe them, all kinds of stuff, move to another step. So if they needed to skip a step in the funnel, they could skip a step in the workflow or what have you. So that those are what the actions buttons does. But if you're just starting your workflow, you probably don't want to have an action right here because this is really like the trigger. That's going to be the trigger that's going to get them into your workflow. So the first thing you want to do is just create the email. So that's the first thing here. And it's super simple. I like that it has the little emoji thing here already because those tend to catch my eye in my inbox when I have like an email that has an emoji on it versus just text. The emoji will grab my attention before the text will. So you can do that. The other thing that I like too is you can insert a person's name. So you make, you see those personalized emails all the time. You're wondering like, I know they're not sitting up there typing all the people their email funnel's first name in there. They're not. They're using this little thing here. So it just puts in that little name filler. So whoever subscribed, their name is going to pop there. So I use this when I did my 10-day inbox e-coaching, and so every day was like, hey Chrissy, today is day 2, hey Ashley, it's day 4, so it's more personalized. It feels like, oh, what is she talking to me? So you can drop that in there. You can also insert other little things. They have all kinds of things you can insert in there. Name is probably the one you're going to use though, the most. You're going to use name. But you drop that in there and make sure you drop it wherever you want the name to appear. So don't just push name and then type your title because it's going to have their name first. So you want to say like, hey, or good morning, and then put their name and then click insert name and then it'll pop it in there. Um, then you can also decide who, here, if you want to change any of this information, you can at that time, and then you just go into designing the email. Now, because mine is linked to my Shopify, once you link it to something like a Shopify, or I don't know if they link with Wix or not, you'll get a couple of more integration features like this Google Analytics and all of this kind of stuff to track. And they talk about pixels and all that. I don't know. I'm not that fancy yet, but you will get more features added onto your email once you link it to your store or whatever it is that your website. So do you want me to show them how to design just a basic email? It's really simple. Okay, so I'm gonna click design. Oh, let me put a title here. So I'm gonna be like, hey girl. Right, we love a hey girl. We love a hey girl email, right? Don't we love a hey girl email? So click design. And in here, I love that you can make templates. You can make your own templates for your emails, so you don't have to like remake the email over and over again. So once you do it, you can kind of, have a couple of different ones that you like to use. You may like the formatted one that you did, so you can keep it and save it, so you don't have to keep creating a new one. So this is the one that I did for my Canva and cocktails party. And so I used the I like them too because you can put gifts in there, so you can have like little movement and little pictures and stuff. So I did this one for the party. So I used Beyonce, because who don't like Beyonce? I mean, come on now. So I used her a gift. And so this is where all your blocks are, and you literally drag and drop. It's so simple. You drag and drop it where you want it to go. And if for whatever reason it's in the wrong spot, you can move it. Just slide it, grab it, drag it to where you want it to be, and then move it around. It's being weird right now, but y'all get the then you can so you can actually break this down so you can see what type of blocks you have. So if you have something where you want them to click and buy, and you want them to be able to go to your store to buy it, you can add e-commerce integrations in there as well. You can add surveys. I like the little survey one. I did that one like right before we started the Canva and cocktails. I sent out a little survey email that was just like, what are the things that you're struggling with Canva? Like picking out colors, figuring out my font, everything. Pick one. And so that was a fun little one to do. So you can do, you can sort these into what you're looking for. So you can go in there and see, the product integrations, and then you have, your products there. You just drag it and drop it in there, on there. And then you could also include your social media links as well, so that they know how to get in touch with you on social media. So once you've created it by dragging and dropping, then you can do a preview, or you can test it. Now I haven't ever done like test mode where I sent it to myself to see how it looks in my inbox when I get it, but they also do like A/B split. I don't know how to do that yet, but I know what it is. And it's basically where you create 2 separate emails to send out to test which one gets the best response, so you can figure out which one to actually like continue using. So that's what the A/B split is for. All right, so I'm done editing my email. I didn't want to go too far down the rabbit hole, because I know it was really supposed to be just showing you. So then it'll pop in here. And so on trigger, this email is going to be sent. What's the trigger? Right here. So on trigger, that's going to send out. And then I'm going to say, well, after that email goes out, I'm going to have a delay of, I'm going to wait 2 days for a response. I'm going to save that. So now it has a wait 2 days in there. And then I'm going to add my next email that's going to be like, hey, didn't hear anything from you. You can also do this one conditionally. You also can do a conditional. So if you have something you want them to actually click on in the email, you can put a conditional in here. and choose where they move in the steps. So if they click something in particular, so if they clicked it, like yes, they clicked the link, you do a thumbs up. What happens after they click the link? They all go through this. But if they don't, you may send out the same email again, just saying like, hey, you forgot, or just want to remind you. So you can just literally duplicate this email, like literally like bam, just like I did it. Hit duplicate, and then you could drag it. I think you can drag it. Can you drag on here? I'm trying to drag it, but it's like it don't let me be great. It's not dragging it where I wanted it to go. I thought I was going to be able to drag it right there. But you can still just click right here, click email again, find your design template that you already made, and just resend that same email and be like, hey, you probably forgot, or just a reminder, just change the title to something else. A lot of people use the brackets in the title to get attention too. So they'll be like, urgent, right? And you'll be like, what is this? I got to look at it. So just use whatever you need in the title to try to grab their attention. And then if they respond that time, then you can put another condition in where they're going to jump to next. That's not what I wanted to do. You can do a action. That's not what I meant to do. And then that means if they click yes finally, then you can jump them over to the other side and define the action. So then they say, oh, I picked it, so you can move them to another step, and then you click the email that you want them to move to. Just find the email title and say, okay, yep, they said they wanted to do that. You can also move them to another workflow that's not within this same workflow. So if you have a whole nother workflow of emails happening and they click yes in this one, you can actually jump them over to that workflow too. So you're like, oh, okay, they click yes. So I'm gonna click them and I want them to jump over to this other workflow. So now that means they're gonna get that email next. So that's how you do like the conditional split and get them back into your workflow, like into the funnel if they don't respond. And then once you do that, you can build this out as far as you need to, and then click turn it on and activate it. And as soon as it's activated, anytime somebody does that trigger, it's gonna drop them in there. Let's see. Of course, this is just your analytics on your emails in the flow. So how many emails were sent out, what's the average open rate, the click rate. I don't know what bounce rate is. I think that has something to do with it going to spam or not. Not really sure, but yeah. I think it has something to do with going to spam.
Bounce is the emails like coming back, like maybe you have an inaccurate email. Okay, or yeah. You get like,
sometimes
so whatever that
their email
looks
addresses.
Like you got like one.
Like, you know, you forget and you type the wrong letter in your email or number, it won't go through, so it'll bounce back. So I probably have like one email that's doing that. And then you can see your full workflow for that particular, you can see all your analytics for that particular workflow by going here. And then you can see, I think on this part. So now that I have mine linked to my Shopify, I even have e-commerce stuff that's on there now. So I can see like who clicked something from there, who's completed it, you know, who's completed the workflow, and the history. So you can see all of these different little analytics of your flow. Now, I'll show you the forms because your forms is important because that's how it's going to trigger all this to happen in the first place. You got to have a way to get them in there. So on forms, you can create different types of forms, and depending on, I think some of them you have to upgrade for. Maybe the forms or campaigns. One of them you have to upgrade. Say it again.
You mean a site, right?
You mean a site? Yeah, you can if you upgrade your Mailerlite, you can do. There's some of these things you have to upgrade for, but I think these are all non.
But you set up landing page sites though that have a form on them that then puts them in a subscriber group. Okay.
Right, and you can also embed these.
The forms you can, the forms you have to embed on web pages, so you have to have an existing site to put them somewhere.
So yeah, if
they don't give you like a URL at the end.
if you already have like a website, you just want to put something on there for them to subscribe, you can do an embedded form. You can also do a landing page in here, which I love. I do a lot of my landing pages right here in Mailerlite. So then you can build your landing pages out. This is one of the ones I did for the lead magnet. Pretty good conversion on it, so I'll show you this one. You can also do split tests with your landing pages, so you can check to see which landing page gets the most attention. But this was like the simplest, most non-fancy landing page ever. It literally was this, and they put in their information, click, and that took them into my funnel. That was it. It didn't have to be complicated. I put this behind the link in my link tree and went on about my life. It was real simple, that quick, and I got their email addresses. Because, you know, sometimes we see those long scrolly ones. If it's not like a program where you need to be able to give details and a whole bunch of information for them, they don't need that. If they say they want your ebook, they're going to just want to go get your ebook. So, and I think this was, we did feedback on this one in I was in a hot seat or something one time about this landing page. So it's just straight to the point. Simple, to the point. Yep, that's me. I want the book. I want to join, whatever. And then I did add some of the little share things so they could share on Facebook if they wanted to. Like, hey, I'm joining this. So if they want another friend to join with them or get the ebook too, they could share it out. But really, really simple. No need to. This was my the Canva and cocktails one, which came out really good too. Keep it simple. That's what I would say. Less is more. This one had a few little clicks, but not many. You know, a few little like, sign me up, I want in, I'm ready. And then you can even add like little countdown timers and all that kind of stuff too. And customize where you want them to go. If you want them to go back to Instagram after they sign up, you can have a back to IG button up there. You can build websites in it, but they're not as customizable. So if you're just looking for a website, nothing too fancy, you can build a website. I think you get, with the free version, you get one website, but you get, you get one website, I think, and one landing page with the free version. I went on and invested in the $10 to get the landing pages, so I can make as many landing pages and websites as I want. One of them is
their packages is everything's pretty all inclusive until you hit a certain subscriber bench. So the packages are typically
I'll
like
show
if
you the plans
more
too
than 1,000.
if you're trying to decide. So this is the free plan that I'm on. I'm on the free plan for the emailing part. So I have up to 1,000 I can have up to 1,000 subscribers and 12,000 emails a month for free. That's a lot. I mean, that's a lot. Unless you're like six-figure business already, you're not probably sending out 12,000 emails a month. I know some people probably are. I can tell from my inbox that they're sending out that many, because I'm literally get an email every day from some people that I subscribe to, but you probably won't. So this is a really great place to start. It also shows you your growth on subscriber growth. So as you can see, August was like big. I think that's probably when I really was pushing something. I don't know what I was pushing at that time, but I got a lot of subscribers in August. Again, I have more stuff here because I signed up for, it's linked to my Shopify, so now you see all these other little things, but you wouldn't normally see that in your typical one. I'll show you the upgrade. So if you just happen to be one of them people that have a whole bunch of subscribers, you can upgrade, and it's based on your number of subscribers. So it goes up in like $5 to $15 increments depending, but not much. I mean, I feel like this is still very inexpensive, and honestly, if you are paying $210 a month, then that means you have a whole lot of business, and that $210 is probably not killing you. Like, you can afford to do that. So that's how you do it. You can pay it annually. Even the annual is not that bad, like $84 a year. That's still pretty cheap. I would say what I do have is the Sites Pro. So I pay an extra $10 a month to be able to have this add-on, which allows me to build unlimited websites in there and landing pages. So I can just build as much as I want. I don't think you need any of this stuff here. Like $100 a month just to skip the queue if you have a question. The truth of the matter is, times I've had questions, I got right in the queue. I never had like a moment of I'm waiting. Like it wasn't, a wait time that would make me feel like I really need to pay that $100 a month because I have questions. They now, of course, if you're just completely designed handicap, you maybe want to pay that $100 for 1 month and let them design some stuff for you, and then be like, never mind, I cancel. You might let them design your stuff and help you out with that, and then you can cancel it. But the little add-ons, if you're not building sites, or if you want to have a bunch of landing pages, then I would pay the $10 for it and just be able to build as many landing pages as you want.
I want to pause real quick and see if anyone has any questions.
Yes. I didn't
so
see anything in it. I don't see my chat button. So my chat button is hidden.
Does anyone have any questions before?
Yes, questions about.
Because we're going to run right up on time.
Mailerlite.
I don't want to keep anybody too late. Okay. Go ahead, Kristen. You wanted to go through.
Somebody popped something in
It's actually saying it was helpful.
No question, but this was super helpful. Oh, yeah. This is your subscriber setup. I just want to show y'all that real quick. So depending on how many, you can segment them. Again, once you sign on, mine has a bunch of segments now because I have it linked to my Shopify, so it automatically adds some of these segments. But which is really cool because you get to see like high spending repeat customers. So who's really spending money with you is good to know, because you may want to offer them something special. So it's good to know who's like spending a lot of money with you. Repeat customers, they'll fall into these little segments. You can edit. Let me see. Let me go back. Come on, go back. But you can add as many segments as you want. You can also have groups. So like if I had mine grouped based on what they were doing. So like I knew who was in the Canva course. I knew who was doing the 10-day e-coaching. I knew who was doing this or that. So that's how mine is set up in groups, and you can kind of see. I have one general. So this one is like everybody falls into that one, and then they kind of like disperse a little bit.
Do you don't have a group for your lead magnet?
Yeah, it's the 10-day e-coaching. That was for the lead magnet. Are you talking about the free?
Okay, so.
Oh, you're talking about the ebook.
Yes. So what I would do is also segment your audience based on like however they signed up, because they didn't. So for example, say for example in my business, I have people who are interested in website marketing, consulting. So based on whatever lead magnet they downloaded, I'm able to know what they're actually interested in. So if they download my social media content calendar, I know that they're interested probably in social media management, or even maybe consulting. So it's really good to.
I think most of them fell in here, but that's because I was just learning how to do this. But that makes a lot of sense.
For sure.
That makes a lot of sense. And you can customize the fields as well that you have for your clients. So if you don't want to get all of this information from them, or you want more information, you can add add new fields and stuff like that too. So truly customize what kind of information you get from your clients. And then again, here's your analytics again, how many, your open rate, your click rate, subscriber rate, unsubscribe rate, etc. So
perfect. Thank you, Kristen. I appreciate you doing that quick little deep dive.
Yes, no problem.
One thing a couple things I wanted to note too is that you can also trigger automations or workflows off of fields as well. Like I use fields very often in my automation. So that email that you guys get every week, the weekly or the monthly email, that's all based off of a field of you guys being active members. And then also, when Kristen was talking about like knowing how often to email, like some people do every 2 days, some people do once a week, some people do once a month. It truly depends on your audience. So Kristen, if there's somebody that's emailing you a lot and you practice inbox zero, hopefully they're not targeting you. They're targeting someone who's overwhelmed with email. They're targeting someone who is a hot mess and they need their service or solution. So typically most people are not high achievers and therefore they're not keeping up with their email. So just consider your audience whenever you're building this stuff. So I want to take the last couple minutes here and get you guys' next steps in here so we can help hold you accountable before